Hey, I'm recording this on August 2nd, 2024. We changed the title to our book. We added one word, and I think it's going to make all the difference. And by the way, if you see the flickering, I have no idea why that's happening. We have spent hours trying to fix it. And like all things technical, it's an unreliable pain in the ass. And we went to the internet to try to get answers and no answers, right? We tried different cameras, we tried different ports. Um, So right now it's an unfixable problem. So anyway, venting aside, so we changed the title. The original title was JFK and RFK's Battle Against Zionist Extremism. Kind of a strong title, but when you read the book, it's right on the money. But at 4 o'clock in the morning, the night before we launched the book, I realized it was missing a very important word, and that word is secret. All this stuff was going on in secret. All the cables we refer to, all the telegrams, uh, all the memorandums were all classified. Now they're declassified now, they're available to the public. But until recently, nobody has put it all together and made a narrative. And the narrative is really simple. And by the way, I have to thank Rick Sterling for waking us up to this. I kind of had this sense, but Rick laid it all out. And now we now have a book, thanks to Brasscheck. Well, I'll tell you why we don't have a book yet, thanks to Amazon, but we will have a book some way by hook or crook, come hell or high water. We now have a book that reveals in graphic detail with all the documentation that the Kennedy brothers were fighting a battle. I could have easily called it a war against the Zionist extremists in the summer of 1963. So we've changed the title from what it was to the following: JFK and RFK's secret battle against Zionist extremism. And everybody loves a secret, so we're hoping this is going to get some of the podcasters interested. We might even get on one of the $1 million podcasters. This is the most explosive story of the last 50 years. I don't know. The fact that the Kennedy brothers were fighting the Zionists, and John F. Kennedy just happened to get shot in the head in the fall of 1963. Not saying they're related, but there is no question they were fighting the Zionists, and the Zionists came out on top. We now have this inexplicable situation of all our criminal politicians, including every single one of them that's running for president. They're all on the bandwagon for the Zionists, the Zionist extremists, and they're all acting like this is normal, like this is as American as apple pie. Well, the Kennedy brothers didn't think it was as American as apple pie, and they were pushing back hard. They were pushing back to keep the Zionists from getting the nuclear bomb, which they now have 90 of them. They were trying to force them to register their foreign lobbying efforts in the United States. Israel's the only country that doesn't do that. And here it is, 2024. They're still not doing that. So anyway, the name of our book is JFK and RFK's Secret Battle Against Zionist Extremism. And I almost wish I'd said secret war, but it didn't really reach the level of war. But then again, maybe it did. We're not saying that the people that killed Kennedy, Robert and John, we actually, one of the things we show in the book is that a lot of the people that had been pointed out as potential conspirators in the murder of both those men happen to be rabid Zionists. So we're not drawing that connection. But we are pointing out is that we once had a president who knew that the Zionists were criminals and was pushing back hard. And so was the attorney general, who happened to be his brother. So now here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Amazon is holding up the publication of the book. They're making a vague claim that it has copyright issues. Doesn't have any copyright issues. Now, somehow it's on Kindle. So please guys, if you're a Kindle reader, get it, read it, review it, pass it around, let people know that this book exists. Flickr's not so bad now, but it still keeps coming back. Let people know this book exists. If I look tired, I'm exhausted, man. I am really freaking tired. And after I record this, I'm going to take a little nap. So we don't know when we're going to have the print version available. If they continue to screw with us, we will have to figure out another way to print it, which will increase our costs and our hassles pretty significantly. But it's a really important book. So the name of the book again is JFK and RFK's Secret Battle Against Zionist Extremism. It is I mean, I know we wrote it, but I have to tell you, it's an extraordinary book. It's not a Me Too, like, oh yeah, here's another new version of what you've already heard 100 times. This is stuff you've never heard before, and it's epic. It's of epic importance. So I hope you'll support the book and talk it up. Let your favorite podcaster or casters know it exists, and maybe they will break their record and actually support one of our books. We do have some good podcasters that do support us, but it's absurd how little attention our amazing books. I mean, I just got to show you, man. We nailed Fauci first, right? This is basically the book version of our 2020 film, and Robert F. Kennedy based a lot of his chapters on this book. We know that because we can count the number of footnotes. Okay. We're still the only people that have brought out this and shown that it was systematic. Everybody else is telling you it's one tragic story and it's one anomaly. No, no, no. It was a systematic program that ended up killing, and I call it murdering, hundreds. Well, we know at least conservative tens of thousands, but possibly hundreds of thousands of people. This book sells very well, but not one single $1 million podcaster has shown any interest in it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm too cranky because I'm too tired and I'm too hot. I don't know. But this is a good book. This is a really important book. If we want to understand what the heck is going on in our crazy country, we need to know that there was a president and an attorney general that pushed back hard against the Zionist extremists in Israel. And they did it back in in the summer of 1963. And this is not theory. This is not speculation. This is not conspiracy theory. These are cables. These are telegrams. These are memorandums. Many of them were classified until relatively recently. And we just lay them all out in the book. You can read them yourself. You don't even need to read the commentary. You can just read the language of the Attorney General's office and the White House, and then the ridiculous attempts by the Zionist extremists to justify their conduct. But anyway, support this thing, guys. Really, we need your help on this one, especially since Amazon's given us such a hard time. So if you're a Kindle buyer, you can go out and get that fellow right now. And that's important to do it now, because if we, during the first week that something's available, that is your chance to win, number one in this category, number one in that category. And those things are important. They're big morale boosters, and we need morale boosting around here, guys. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. So it's a big morale booster for everybody. And that also raises the odds that somebody will discover the book and actually give it some attention. But I think all of these books, even if they're not getting the attention they deserve now, eventually lightning's going to strike. These are unique. Nobody else has written books like this on these topics. Nobody else has presented these insights. Nobody else has presented this evidence, and these address like the major stories of our day. So the books will get there eventually to public consciousness, but you could help right now by buying the Kindle and telling your friends about the Kindle and letting them know that Amazon is screwing with us yet again. As you know, they took down Fauci's first fraud. I don't know if you were aware of that. They took it down a couple of weeks ago and made us jump through 1,000 idiotic hoops, none of which were necessary. Now that book is back on. It looks like they're going to do the same thing to us again with this book. And if you wonder how this works, there's an employee or employees at Amazon that have been tasked by the bad guys by some outer force. I don't think it's Amazon itself. I don't think Amazon gives a rat's ass. I think they love the money we're making them. But you have inside people that are agents one force or another, and they're out there looking to screw with books that are exposing the evil doings of their sponsors, and they happen to have a job at Amazon, so they can wreak a lot of havoc and waste a lot of our time and energy, which they are doing. Anyway, I'm just bitching and moaning and groaning here, so I'm going to stop. I'm just going to say, get the book, guys. Please get the book, support the book, talk it up, learn what's in the book. When you see what's in this thing, you're not going to believe it, and yet it's the history. I mean, I had to do a little like projecting when I was writing the Fauci book. I had to do a little projecting when I was writing the book on the nurses and what the nurses saw. This thing is, I didn't have to project anything. I didn't have to imagine a thing. I just have to read the cables and read the telegrams and read the memorandums. Crystal clear what was going on. I should have called it a war, but I called it a battle. But in any event, there goes that flicker again. Please support this Kindle. Okay, it's really important, and hopefully we'll get through, and they'll allow us to sell the paperback. At which point I'm going to give another message. Hopefully I won't be as tired, and you can buy that if you're. I myself only want books in print. I personally I just don't read things on screens. You may be that way, but you may love Kindle. Some people love Kindle. If you love Kindle, get this thing,